The Honourable Diane Evers.
Thank you, Deputy President. I rise tonight following from the question without notice that I asked today. It was about an Aboriginal heritage site that was only recently registered down near the city of Albany, Green Range, which is about an hour's drive towards Many Peaks. And it's interesting, this lake, it was Lake Mullocullup, also known as Warriup Swamp, has long-standing traditional values, both spiritual and cultural. It was on the track of the walk of the Noongar people from Esperance to Albany, along the songlines there, where they stopped at this lake, at this freshwater lake. It had a birthing place there, where even a friend of mine in Albany, her mother was born there some long years ago. And it also had men's places near that. The Indigenous people had used it. It was also a watering place for stock that would be traveling along that route as well. It had a number of strong cultural heritage uses. And about 35 years ago, people started water skiing there. And it wasn't, the landowners nearby, they weren't quite happy with this because of the noise. The Noongar people were very unhappy with it because the desecration to the space, they would leave rubbish, they would make lots of noise, more traffic in and out, and it removed that chance of the peaceful enjoyment of the place. Now, the city of Albany ignored this for some time, well, until recently, until last year. They just turned a blind eye to it, even though the place had never been gazetted for recreation. It was used for water. And then it came to them because the Noongar people and others had been complaining about it, mentioning that we don't want this, it should be stopped, can't you do something about it? But they never had a local law against it either, so it wasn't up to the city of Albany to do anything. The pressure came on them, though, over the last year to gazette it for water skiing so that the people who wanted to go water skiing there could continue to do it. Even though there are 9 other places around the Albany area where they can go water skiing, they said, no, we want to be able to do it on this lake, this particular lake, even though it's quite small. I mean, you might get one run back and forth, and that's about it. And there was no real need for it. Now, through this time, the Aboriginal people down there were expressing how important it was to them, and it did become registered as an Aboriginal heritage site quite recently. But in the news and from what they had heard from, supposedly a spokesperson from Department of Planning, that it didn't need to be to get a Section 18 notice referral to the Aboriginal Cultural, or what's it called? Aboriginal Cultural Materials Committee. And so people thought that that wouldn't have to happen. The city could just put it through by gazetting it. And even though the city was quite divided by this, and they did their Aboriginal consultation, it was found to be pitiful. It was so bad that they had another survey done, or another consultant came in to explain to them just how deficient their consultation had been. But the city continued, and they've pushed to have it gazetted. But just today, through this question without notice, I've found that yes, it is registered, and as it is registered as a mythical and cultural site, it will need a Section 18 notice. And therefore, I'm very happy to be able to support the Indigenous people and others in the Albany community who are saying we don't want this water skiing there. And I just want to really say how important it is to have these steps in place to make sure that the wrong thing doesn't happen, because not only will it disturb the cultural values of the place, but also the environmental values of the place. It's one of the last few remaining freshwater lakes in that area, and it's too valuable to lose it, and it doesn't seem necessary that we need to have this one gazetted as well for recreation. Thank you.